Hello, in this video I'm going to be talking about how you can go from 0 to 100 in decentralized finance. Hopefully by the end of this video you will have enough information how to actually use various decentralized financial protocols in order to use them in certain ways to increase your freedom and personal sovereignty. So in this video I'm going to be talking about various things. First, we're going to start with how you can set up a crypto wallet for Ethereum. We're going to be talking about, very briefly, I'm going to be talking about how you can actually fund this wallet on Ethereum. Then my favorite parts, we're going to be talking about how you can actually use a decentralized exchange such as Uniswap. We're going to use CowSwap. I'm going to talk about the differences between USDT and USDC. I'm going to be talking about a little bit the differences between Ethereum and various layer 2 protocols. By the way, Ethereum is called L1 or Homestead, it's also called, but most people just call it Ethereum, and then everything else is L2 or a side chain or various different other blockchain protocols. Then, yeah, like I already said, I'm going to be swapping on Uniswap, swapping on 1inch, actually probably not on 1inch, but 1inch is also another decentralized exchange. And we're also going to be swapping on CowSwap, my favorite new exchange that I've discovered. And if we have time, I'm going to be talking about how you can actually also use Aave. Aave is a decentralized lending platform, and I will show you how you can actually use Aave as well. All right, so let's first talk about how you can set up a crypto wallet. So why am I talking about setting up a crypto wallet? So the reason why I'm talking about how to set up a crypto wallet and why you should probably use this method to setting up a crypto wallet is because I've known people who have been hacked. Not hacked because there was some super smart hacker or anything. They were just careless with how they handled their private key and their mnemonic phrase. So a mnemonic phrase is a 12-word phrase, and this 12-word phrase essentially is your secret private key. However, just talking about a little bit cryptography, your mnemonic phrase is essentially hashed. That is used as a seed for generating your private keys, and your private keys generate your public keys. So your mnemonic phrase is super important. Where you store and how you store your mnemonic phrase is very, very, very important. And you might ask, well, okay, probably the safest way is just to write it down on a piece of paper. The answer is no, don't just write it down on a piece of paper. The reason why is because if you have hundreds of thousands of dollars of assets and you keep that piece of paper with you, you are a walking target. And you might say, well, I'll just keep it in a vault or I'll keep it in a safe. Well, that's better. But still, let's say you need to take that piece of paper with you, or you carry that piece of paper with you. Essentially, now you are carrying all of your crypto with you. That is just so, so risky. So many people have been essentially mugged. People know that they're in crypto, and there's attacked in the street or kidnapped in the street. So you don't want to carry a plain text version of your mnemonic phrase. Also, you don't want to just keep it written down on a piece of paper, because let's say someone breaks into your apartment. Like, you don't want it just to be so easy for someone to steal all of your crypto. So this is what we're going to talk about. So how can you store your crypto safely? So you might say, well, I need a hardware wallet. Well, hardware wallet's okay, but it's not ideal. And the reason why is because your hardware wallet, it's difficult to copy your hardware wallet. Hardware wallets are not super cheap. They're like 50, 60, some are like $100. And if you want to be like super redundant, the best thing is a micro SD card or a flash drive. And so what do? And you don't want to just have it as, store your mnemonic phrase on a flash drive. You want to store it on a flash drive that is encrypted. So every single time you plug in the flash drive, a password should show up. And I'm going to show you actually how to do this. So you go to disk utility if you're on Mac OS. And so I have this. We're just going to start from scratch here. So we're just going to call it Crypto Wallet 1. We're going to pick APFS case sensitive encrypted. We're going to choose our password. It's going to be 123, 123. And it's 1 through 3 is our hint. I'm going to click erase. And it's going to do this. Now we have our micro SD card that has been formatted, and everything that is on the micro SD card is encrypted, and it's encrypted behind a password. So I'm super paranoid about how I store my crypto and everything. So I actually write, whenever I generate a private key or a mnemonic phrase, I actually write the code myself, because I want to, for one, it helps me better understand what's going on, and two, I have more trust in myself than other developers for generating seed phrases, these mnemonic phrases. So here's some code. This is in TypeScript. So you can see, like, every single time I run this script, it's going to generate a different mnemonic phrase for me. So your mnemonic phrase, again, is super duper important. So these are two different addresses. These two different addresses, they're linked to this mnemonic phrase. So this is a private key. Let's say I have like $100 worth of Ethereum on this first address. If this private key is compromised, then only the crypto on this first address is compromised. The crypto on this second address will not be compromised, only if the private key for the second address is compromised. But if your entire mnemonic phrase is compromised, then all of the crypto on all of the addresses associated with the mnemonic phrase, that crypto is compromised. So this is why your mnemonic phrase is super, super duper important. And so the best way to store it is you want to have like a wallet where you do long-term storage of crypto, where you don't import it into MetaMask. And this is probably the best way to store that crypto. So yeah, you just you generated your addresses and your mnemonic phrase, you just paste it in here. You save it, and let's just do new here. So yeah, we just paste it in here. Let's call it private key 2, save. And where is this being saved to? Let's save it to downloads here. So just now it's in my downloads folder. And let me open this up in the Finder. So this is crypto wallet 1, that what I just made. And here's my private key 2 file. And there you go. So then I unplugged it. I'm going to plug it back in, and it's going to ask for a password. So again, another reason why you don't want to be just traveling with a piece of paper with your mnemonic phrases on it is because I actually got stopped at the US border, and they took out all of my stuff, and I had some old mnemonic phrases that I wasn't even using anymore, but they scanned everything, and had there actually been any crypto on that wallet, that would have been compromised, because now the US government or federal agents that stopped me would have access to my crypto. So this is why traveling, you don't want to have plain text on a piece of paper. Ideally, you want to have your private key like this. It's encrypted with a strong form of encryption, like AES 512 or AES 2048. I don't know. Look up strong forms of encryption, but AES is pretty strong. And then you have that in the cloud somewhere. So ideally, when you're crossing borders, you don't have any physical devices, even if they're encrypted. You don't have them, because when you cross the border into the United States, they can take any electronic device from you for an indefinite period of time. So, and ideally also what you can do is you can store different sections of this mnemonic phrase on different SD cards, and then store those SD cards in different places. It's another thing. Another way people have done this, there's this thing called steganography. Steganography is where you can actually hide data in images. Let me show you this really quick. Steganography, and you can actually save your mnemonic phrase in it should be, even if you're using steganography to save your mnemonic phrase or your private keys in various files, you want to make sure it's encrypted. So essentially what steganography is where you can take some image, and in the image encode some data, and just by looking at the image, you open up, it would just look like a normal file. You open up the image, it's a picture, but in reality, it's your private key. So if you want to be like super mega paranoid and you don't even want to, let's say you're stopped. This is like a worst case scenario. You're stopped and someone's asking you like, show me all of your devices. You open up all your devices, say I have nothing to hide. But in reality, everything's hidden in plain sight using steganography. That's another method. I know people that use that. But if you're super duper paranoid, you can just memorize these words. I don't recommend that because if you have like a really, sketchy night out, hard night out, you might forget. So best just to use different methods such as, like this method with SD drive, flash drive is probably the strongest, best, and then distribute that, make multiple copies, etc. All right, so I think I talked about that. So now once you generated your private key, now you have these addresses, public addresses, and you go to a centralized exchange such as Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, Bybit. There's a million of them. And then you actually send your crypto. Probably you should send first Ethereum because anytime you're doing a transaction on the blockchain, you're going to be paying for gas. And that's why you need Ethereum. And then you can send other assets from the centralized exchange to this address. Again, you do not want to store any crypto on these centralized exchanges because if they don't like you, they can take all your assets. I've had this happen to me before. Coinbase is very sketchy. I do not recommend Coinbase, by the way. It's just do not store. If you do not keep your crypto on your own address, you do not own that crypto. All right, so now let's talk about funding. So we talked about funding a wallet. Now let's talk about using a decentralized exchange. This is like the most exciting thing ever. Like this is so cool. Like this is what I work in. I build these things every single day, work on this technology. It's amazing. So here I have, I'm on Arbitrum. Arbitrum is a layer 2 network. So you have Ethereum. Ethereum is like the mother chain where the most liquidity is. Then you have these various layer 2 protocols such as Arbitrum, Optimism. There's a new L2s, Fuel, Scroll, all sorts of different various layer 2 protocols, and they have different architectures and different pluses and minuses. But that is outside the scope of this video. But anyways, I'm using Arbitrum. The reason why I'm using Arbitrum is because Arbitrum has super low gas fees. So that's why I'm using Arbitrum in this video. All right, so let's exchange Tether to USDC. But before I do that, I'm going to quickly explain what the difference is between Tether and USDC. So Tether and USDC and DAI, it's another stable coin. These are all stable coins. So this means they're theoretically supposed to be pegged to $1. But you can see like right here, it's not $1 exactly. It's like 0.9993. And you can also see that the price of the stable coin, it actually fluctuates. Like this is crazy. Like actually, it looks like it fluctuates a lot, but if you look at the one year or all-time historical chart, you can see that there were times when Tether actually depegged. This was back in 2017 during the DAO hack incident. But yeah, you can see that it's not exactly stable. USDC also depegged once back in 2023 when Signature Valley Bank collapsed. And the reason why is because the company that controls USDC, they actually had treasury bonds in Signature Valley Bank, and this caused people to freak out. So technically, these stable coins, they're supposed to be one-to-one to the US dollar, but not always. Not always. Another interesting thing is that like in Russia and in China and just pretty much all around the world, more people prefer USDT. There's more liquidity for USDT. You can see the market cap of USDT is on the site here, and this coin market cap. It's 120 billion versus USDC is 34 billion. And the thing is, USDC actually overtook Tether in market cap back in like 2022 or early 2021. But then after Signature Valley Bank thing happened, now USDC is really lagging in market cap compared to Tether. So that's the difference between USDT and USDC. Personally, they're the same to me, but I kind of like USDC more. I don't know why, that's super subjective, but that's just me. All right, so we're gonna swap 10 USDT for USDC on Uniswap. So every single time you swap an asset on Uniswap, there's a little bit of a slippage, and there's actually a fee. But the fee is actually very, very low. So yeah, let's just click swap. We're going to click approve and swap. So when you're actually doing this in MetaMask, it's going to like give you first this massive number. And this massive number is a 256-bit number. It's the maximum 256-bit number. And don't click approve on that. That's just like this Solidity smart contract thing. I just like to click the max amount of the balance that I actually have. And the reason why is because if you click max, it's sketchy. Honestly, it's just sketchy because let's say for whatever reason Uniswap were to get hacked, then you would have approved the smart contract to withdraw your balance from the smart contract. Can withdraw any amount of the token that you approved. So yeah, you just need to be careful with your approvals. And there's actually a website called revoke.cash that you can check all of the applications where you actually clicked approve. And also when you're clicking anything in MetaMask, you just want to be super aware of what you are actually clicking confirm on, what exactly you are approving. Most people just like MetaMask pops up and like it's like this Pavlovian response or something. They just like immediately click confirm. They've like been conditioned to click confirm really quickly. That's not the right way to do things. In this video, I'm going quickly, but that's not the right way to do things. You really want to be super vigilant exactly what you are approving. So yeah, you just got to be super careful. So again, this is on Arbitrum, and this is why all these gas fees are super cheap. So yeah, we swapped, and now we can look at my address. So see, we had 10 USDC and 30 USDT. Let's see how much I have now. So let's see. All right, so anyways, but that work? I think that worked. So yeah, I sold my USDC for USDT, and now I have 30 USDC and 12 USDT. All right, let's actually swap, but we're going to swap on our CalSwap. So again, how does this work to begin with? So when people actually supply, so Uniswap is an automated market maker, and an automated market maker, the price on an automated market maker is defined by this formula called the constant product formula. And the formula is X times Y equals K. And all this means is the amounts of, for example, USDT and USDC. If the ratio of USDT and USDC in the smart contract is the same, so like 1-to-1, then the price is 1-to-1. But if there's more of one asset than another, then the one with less of the like balance in the smart contract, then that asset is actually going to be valued more. So yeah, that's essentially how this works. And then there are people who actually supply liquidity to Uniswap. And when other people, like when I just exchanged those assets, those people that supply liquidity to Uniswap, they're actually earning fees for supplying liquidity to Uniswap. But the thing is, supplying liquidity to Uniswap doesn't come without its own risks. And actually, at a hackathon in New York City, I built this protocol where you can actually hedge those risks financially. So this is a chart, for example, of so there's this thing called impermanent loss. When you supply liquidity to Uniswap and the price changes. So yeah, for this case, I just swapped USDT to USDC, but let's, for example, I was swapping USDT for Ethereum. The people who actually supply Ethereum and USDT in the smart contract, they are exposed to this exotic risk profile. And you can see this blue line is that exotic risk profile. And what do I mean by exotic risk profile? Essentially means that the profile follows this, the payoff profile follows this like kind of strange line. So here on the x-axis we have price, and on the y-axis it's just the value of this position. So when you supply liquidity to Uniswap, you actually like have like a position. So you can think of this as like a derivative, where a derivative being the value of the portfolio is determined by the underlying asset. So if this is like USDT and Ethereum, as the price of Ethereum goes up, you're going to have less and less Ethereum, and you're going to have more and more USDT. So that means that at a certain point, like if the price goes way out of the range of the liquidity, like of the price range that you supplied to Uniswap, so like when you supply liquidity to Uniswap, for example, you actually pick a price range. And the more concentrated your price range is that you pick, the more in fees that you earn. And opposite is true. If the price range is super wide, then you're going to earn less fees. So yeah. And essentially, where you choose to like supply liquidity, the range when you supply liquidity determines this exotic risk profile thing, this derivative, essentially your LP position, P&L. So there are different ways to hedge this, and this is how we won that hackathon in New York City. You can open up a short position, and that short position can partially hedge your downside risk. And so yeah, but that's again outside the scope of this video. So again, let's go back to CowSwap and let's do a swap on CowSwap. So we have 30 USDC, and let's go back and let's buy some USDT. So let's buy 12. So sell 12. Let's see how many USDT we get. So I really like CowSwap, and CowSwap, it actually stands for coincidence of wants. It's not actually like cows, it stands for coincidence of wants. So maybe there's someone out there right this second who actually wants to buy 12 USDC and is willing to sell or give away their USDT for it. So CowSwap, it like aggregates these desires of people, these wants. It's sort of like an order book, but not exactly, because it also, if there isn't someone who wants to swap with me at this given time period, at this exact moment in time, CowSwap will actually go to Uniswap. And there's the moo sound, the classic moo sound from CowSwap. So I really like CowSwap. So it's like an order book, but also integrates with Uniswap, which is super cool. And also it protects you. You hear that? This is like, I love this. Like on the UI, I told the developers of CowSwap that I really like that touch on the front end. So yeah, like CowSwap's cool because it also protects you from this thing called minor extractable value or maximal extractable value. So essentially people on Ethereum, since there's this concept of the mempool. So when you actually submit a transaction, that transaction is not immediately included in the block. So everyone can see that you're submitting a transaction. So for example, let's say, on Arbitrum, the mempool is private. I don't think it's a public mempool, meaning people can't see the transaction that I submitted before it's included in the block. But on Ethereum, it is public. The mempool is public. So when I say I want to buy Ethereum for some price, everyone is aware of that before that order is actually executed. And what that means is people can see my order, go to Uniswap, and pay. They can submit a transaction, pay a higher gas fee, hoping that that transaction gets included in the block before my transaction, and essentially they can do this thing called a sandwich attack, where they increase the price before my transaction is actually included in the block, and then they can arbitrage. It's very complicated, but this is the benefit of CowSwap, is that when CowSwap is executing your order on Ethereum, you don't have this risk of people front running you or back running you or doing like a sandwich attack where they can like arbitrage you essentially. So CowSwap is super cool, and I don't use Uniswap anymore, to be honest, but CowSwap does use Uniswap, so it's like sort of, but anyways, CowSwap is super cool. I really like CowSwap. All right, so the remaining time in this video, I'm going to quickly talk about Aave. So what is Aave? Aave is a decentralized lending platform where you can supply and borrow assets. And again, since I was talking a little bit about that hackathon thing that I built, what you can do is you can actually open up a short position on Aave by, you can, for example, supply a volatile asset, so you can like deposit Ethereum. And if you think the price of Ethereum is going to go down, actually, yeah, if the price of Ethereum would go down, you'd be borrowing that volatile asset. So you deposit USDC, you borrow Ethereum, and then the price of Ethereum goes down. You could buy Ethereum, that amount that you, so yeah, you would, what would you do? This always gets me confused. So you would deposit USDC, you would borrow Ethereum, then you would immediately sell that Ethereum for dollars. Then if the price of Ethereum were to go down, then you would use those dollars and you would buy that Ethereum again and then pay back your loan on Aave. That's how you can short a position, short assets using Aave. So yeah, so let's quickly supply. So as you can see, the APY for USDT on Aave on Arbitrum is 5.9%, 5.19%, and for USDC is slightly less. So let's supply some USDT. Let's just supply the max. Why not? I'm going to quickly show you how this even works. So yeah, Aave is super cool. I actually got a grant from Aave and I won a hackathon, first place for integration with Aave in New York City at a hackathon. So I am a big fan of Aave and I've written a lot of code that integrates with Aave. So I used to supply liquidity on Aave and I still do. But I'm a fan of Lido right now. So Lido is a liquid staking, it's a staking protocol. So you can stake your Ethereum on Ethereum L1 and you can earn yield in Ethereum, on Ethereum in Ethereum. So, and it's about like 3.1%, which is super cool. So you're actually paid daily in Ethereum, which is super cool. But again, that's maybe for a different video. So anyways, yeah, there you go. I supplied to USDT to Aave, and now if we go to my wallet, where did my Arbiscan wallet go? Oh yeah, talking about this is really quick. How do you get from Ethereum, your assets from Ethereum to Aave? You use, or from Ethereum to Arbitrum, you use this thing called a bridge. And different L2s have different architectures. There's like an optimistic rollup, there's a ZK rollup, and there's different pluses and minuses. And what the TLDR is that essentially when you're transferring liquidity from Ethereum to Arbitrum, it's going to take about 30-40 minutes. But since Arbitrum is an optimistic rollup, it's going to take about 7 days to withdraw from Arbitrum back to Ethereum. But if you want to speed that up, there's different bridges. But I don't like bridges because they're sort of expensive. So what you can use as like a sort of like a bridge is like use a centralized exchange, such like Kraken or Coinbase, where you would take the assets from Arbitrum, send them to the centralized exchange account, and then withdraw them back to Ethereum that way. But then you have to trust the centralized exchange. So, but anyways, so here's my address. Let's like reload this and you'll see that I have Aave tokens now. So yeah, so Aave Arbitrum tokens. This is the 24 USDT that I supplied. All right, so that's pretty much it. That was the goal of this video, just to kind of explain, run through these things, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. And if you didn't, let me know. And if you like this video, let me know also. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.